Because the subtle power of greed needs to be addressed, divine feminines. Because it doesn't honor the vibration of divine femininity. Because as a divine feminine, you always have what you need. You don't need to stress or let anxiety or fear or depression or any of those heavy, low vibrational frequencies to run rampant in your energy. And if they are running rampant in your energy, you have to examine where it's coming from. And if you be honest and you look deep enough, you will see greed at the foundation. Divine Feminines, what's good? It's your girl YaYa, the spiritual doula. Thank you for tapping on this video. If this is your first time checking out Mother's Daughters ITV, thank you for coming. Please hit the subscribe button and join our family. If you are a returning subscriber and a family member, what's good? It's your girl YaYa, the spiritual doula. Thank you for tapping on this video. If this is your first time checking out Mother's Daughters ITV, thank you for coming. Please hit the subscribe button and join our family. If you are a returning subscriber and a family member, what's going on, Soul Tribe? Hope everybody is doing well. Hope you are feeling well and everything is well. Please hit the like button after you've listened to this video. Exchange a little energy with your girl. You know, we're trying to build our platform over here. Okay, leave me a comment. Let me know how this message resonates with you. Leave a question. If you have a question or want further explanation on anything that is said in this message, you are welcome to ask any questions. Don't ask me no foolishness, because I'm going to return you with a foolish answer, because that's just me. All right. So also hit that notification bell so you'll know when we're back with another video. All right. Let's get into it. Spirit wants us to really take our time. Okay. We're going to talk today about the subtle power of greed. The subtle power of greed. And this is a very important aspect of humanity and human existence that all awakened or awakening souls need to really spend time looking at how greed is playing out in your decisions. Okay? Because it can be very subtle. All right. It doesn't have to be loud and boisterous. Okay. We know when we run across a person who has the energy of a hustler. They're going to hustle you out of everything you got if you're not careful. But sometimes we can operate in the spirit of greed and not really be aware of that. So we're going to talk about that, because this is what spirit. Now we're talking about awakening. So I'm talking to divine feminines who have either awakened to some degree, or you're in the process of waking up, or you need to wake up. And we need to look at the subtle power of greed as it relates to the awakening that we are experiencing, the coming out of sleep, out of slumber. All right. Coming out of conscious conditioning, okay, that have caused us to be spiritually unaware of the tools, the weapons of the proverbial enemy that we all have. Okay. So we're going to look at that. Now I got a lot of water energy here. So you could be a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio in your sun sign, but you could also be a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio in your moon sign, and also in your black moon sign or your Lilith sign. Now, the reason why the moon spirit was highlighting to me that they need to look at their moon sign, because we always looking at the sun sign, but the moon sign as it relates to awakening, and more specifically the Lilith black moon sign, whatever is sitting in that space for you, whatever energy is in that space as it relates to awakening, you're going to really need to pay attention to that moon sign, because the moon sign is showing you where you need to highlight or shine light in that energy in order to uncover what is subconsciously operating in you, upon you, through you, so on and so forth. The moon signs are very important, okay, to your awakening. So I'll get into, maybe in this message, I'll get into a little bit more of understanding how this goes. Well, let me just do it now, because, a lot of times we hear about astrology and stuff like that, and then how to make all of that applicable to your spiritual awakening and stuff. And there's a lot of information out there about that. But what I have found for myself, as Spirit has revealed to me, is that the term light worker, right? Because everybody harps on being a light worker. You're a light worker. I'm a light worker. We're working light. We're children of the light. We're children of the sun, so on and so forth, right? So as you start to wake up, as you begin to step into the light, which means you become consciously aware of yourself in a spiritual way, more consciously aware of spirituality around you and things around you. So then your conscious mind begins to experience growth and awareness. You begin to wake up, right? What happens in the spirit is that as you step into the light or step into the higher consciousness, you take on the aspects of the sun. You become the sun. Your consciousness is being enlightened. Now, what you have to do is take that light and shine it upon your subconscious, because your subconscious is the moon. Okay, so you take the higher consciousness, the things that you learn when you listen to these videos, you listen to other teachers or other people, content creators, you're divulging a lot of information, you're reading books, you're doing all of that, you're meditating, you're learning about yourself, you're discovering yourself. All of that light that you're stepping into, you have the job of taking that light and then shining it upon your subconscious, because your subconscious is regulated by the moon, and it is in essence the moon energy within you. And this is why the moon sign that's on your chart and the black moon sign is even more so important, okay, because that talks about the dark side of the moon, the side of the moon we do not see at any given moment. Okay, we cannot see with the naked eye. So the moon signs is where the work is. After you have become a light worker, I think a lot of people think that the shit stops at that point, but it's just getting started. It's not stopping, okay? Because now you have to intentionally take that light and shine it upon your subconscious. Because if you don't, you could be a whole light worker and still have certain energies working out through you and in your life that you are not paying attention to, that will hinder your next level of awakening. Because the initial awakening is just the waking up. Okay? We talk a lot about awakening, but we have to talk as the awakened. Because once you awaken, you have work to do, because there's still more things that have to be now examined for you to experience a full evolution. Awakening is not the full evolution. It's just getting started. All right. So when you start coming into a higher consciousness, do not forget that you have a subconscious that is not readily available to your consciousness, that you have to now begin to take that higher consciousness and shine that light on the moon energy operating in you, and that is your subconscious. Okay, so you could be a moon sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. You do not have to be, but I just have a lot of water energy here in this particular reading, and so I know Spirit is talking about emotions. Our emotions, and she's also highlighting again our heart space, right? And as we heal that heart space, we examine our emotions, because our emotions is what drives us to make certain decisions. And sometimes those decisions that we make out of our emotions do not honor our evolution. They hinder the evolution. Okay. And today we're going to talk about, she has me talking about the subtle power of greed. Of greed. Now, most of us are being birthed right now, awakening, and being birthed into our higher consciousness, our higher state of existence. Okay. But we need to realize that at the same time, while we are being birthed, we are also birthing. So we have to examine, this message is about what we are birthing while we are being birthed. Because you do not want to continue to birth things into your external life that do not honor the birthing you're going through. Because you could be birthing and still looking around your life and there's chaos, because you keep birthing chaos. You're being birthed, you're being awakened, you're coming into, but you're still birthing chaos. So you know, I don't know if y'all ever met people who claim to be awakened, and then you kind of not sitting as a judge of anybody, but you kind of look at their life and it's still chaotic, and it's like it's always something. It's never no peace with them, and they always ranting and raving, and you know the energy is just kind of like a little off. But you claim you're awakened, and I'm not saying you're not awakened, but you've been awakened for 5 years, and it's still like something's still off, and your energy is still imbalanced. It's still because they're not taking that higher consciousness, that awareness that they've stepped into or have awakened to, and shining it on the subconscious. The subconscious is the part of you that plays out in your life that your consciousness is not necessarily connected to. You're not aware of it. The only way you become aware of it is through intention. You have to intentionally examine your subconsciousness, your moon energy. And your birth chart is a good place to start, because your birth chart is literally a roadmap to everything that you are. Okay? Everything that you are. If you're confused about what's going on and how to do and what to do, you know, sit down with your birth chart for a little while. Get you a good astrology book. Go online. You know, I prefer to use a book, really, because with online you get a lot of different information, a lot of different energies and stuff like that. Find you a really good one, like one that goes in detail. Okay, and begin to really go through your birth chart in these signs, the houses, and so on and so forth. Now, when you're looking at your moon sign, what energy is there is going to tell you a lot about what plays out in your subconscious that you really need to highlight. It's going to show you the good and the bad aspects of who you are in your subconscious. All right. So there's a strong need to uncover here. I have the mysteries card with the being clarified by the Two of Swords. So there is something hidden. There's something hidden that's still playing out while you're being birthed. You're still birthing because you're still birthing certain things out of greed, because there's something hidden that is not readily aware to you. Okay, and Spirit is really admonishing us to intentionally sit down and uncover those things. All right, uncover our decisions, which is linked to our emotions, which is linked to our thoughts. Now, the first thought that hits your mind about a decision is going to be your conscious reasoning. That is the reason that is readily available to you. In other words, I'm having a little bit of, I got a good part-time, I'm a full-time job, but I need to, make a little bit more extra money. So I'm going to, do this little side hustle, you know what I'm saying? Or I'm going to go get 2 or 3 more jobs, part-times, I pick up a little something overnight or whatever. And so now you are out of balance when it comes to your time, when it comes to your rest periods, when it comes to, now we're talking about divine femininity. So divine femininity moves a lot different than masculinity. Okay. So we have to remember that, right? So now you want to make a little extra money, although you have a good full-time job. You now want to make more money, more money, more money, more money. So what you do is you do a little side hustle over here. You got two more jobs over here, a little something overnight, whatever the case may be. And your reasoning is because I need to just make a little bit more money because I got this I got to take care of, I got that I got to take care of, and woo 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 woo, right? And the full-time job may be just enough to get you through. But then boom, you kind of in the middle of the month you see a little deficit, so you're like, okay, I gotta go get another, go get something else. Boom boom boom, right? Now your first reasoning is because we all have a need to have some sort of income. That's just a requirement of life. In certain areas you got to have income, finances. Okay, so we'll reason, that being the reason to go and get 2 and 3 more jobs, right? That's the reasoning in the conscious mind. But what you really are not understanding is that the subconscious mind is operating really out of greed. Okay, what do you mean? What I mean is, if you was to really look at the money you have coming in, and if you was to really look at everything that you have tangible, everything that you have earned, all of the good things you have around you, you would see that you really have no more need to pick up another job, another this, another that, wear your body out, wear your mental mind out, wear your emotional mind out. You're not getting enough rest. Now you got fluid on your ankles, fluid on your knees, your body hurting because you're out of balance. And then what happens is you pick up 2 or 3 more jobs, you pick up another hustle, and you begin to have depression, and all of these other things begin to show up imbalance. You're burnt out, you're stressed. So you thought working more would solve one problem, but then it created another one, because anytime you're out of balance, it's just what it is. You're out of balance, and that imbalance is going to show up somewhere else. So when you really look at your circumstances, it's not that you need more money, it's that you need to get rid of some expenditures. If you have a full-time job and you do not have enough money to get you through the month, then somewhere in your lifestyle you are living beyond your means. And that is creating an imbalance. And that imbalance is creating financial stress. And that financial stress is now pushing you to go get another job, go get 2 more jobs. And those 2 more jobs is going to start breaking your body down. Do you see how the snowball it keeps building and building and building? Because imbalance, until it is put back in balance, it can only produce more imbalance. So subconsciously, you are adhering to the idea of more money, more money, more money. But because you haven't learned how to live within your means, you're going to go and get the 2 or 3 more jobs, and it's still not going to be enough money, because you are going to manifest imbalance, and you're going to find a way to blow that money. And you're going to constantly always be in the need of more. And this is an indoctrinated cycle that they have us under in society. Now, as an awakening soul, these are the things you have to undo. You have to undo this pattern of more. I need more money. And money is I use that as an example for a reason, because it is a very powerful tool that they wield over us to keep us out of balance. And this is the time where Spirit is wanting to uncover this to you. This could be in any area. Okay? And just doesn't have to be in your finances. Greed is driving you to make decisions that don't honor who you are. particularly as a divine feminine, particularly as an awakened being. Greed is not going to honor you. It is going to cause you to still be living out of balance in certain areas, whatever areas in which you have greed. Okay, working subtly. The subtle power of greed causes us to desire more than we need. Now, this desire to want more than we need is a direct result of not self-defining what is success for you. I'm going to say that again. The subtle power of greed, the desire to want more than you need, is a result of you not defining success as it relates to you, as an individual, as a divine feminine. Most of the world is moving under the idea of the more you have, the more successful you are, right? The more you get, the more you gain, the more tangible stuff you have, the more successful you are. But divinity, those who operate out of divinity, those who are spiritual, know that this is not the case. You have to ask yourself this question: what is success for you? If you're a spiritual being on a spiritual awakening, then you have to start asking, what defines success for me? And if that answer is still predicated upon the tangible world, you're in trouble. I can't say it no more plainly than that. You're in trouble. Not that you can't get out of trouble, but this is what this message is trying to help you do. As a spiritual being, you cannot continue to make decisions based on the material world, society, and the influence of the material world upon you. You have to kind of flip that around, and your spirit existence has to become the place, the realm where you put more intention into being successful. To do that, it does require a certain breaking down of the contract that you have with the material world, that you don't even really like. You didn't really choose it, because you was just born, and then you was just taught things. You learned things from school, you learned things from your parents, and the parents learned things, and then they turn around and instill that into you, and you pick up things from your religious organizations, you pick up things from your peer group, and everybody wants to appear successful based upon how they have grown, or what they have earned, or what they have gained in the material world, while the spiritual existence is going relatively ignored. Right? Relatively ignored. And so your spirit is not being fed, is not being fortified, is not being strengthened, because you spend so much time in the material consciousness of the material world, trying to win, trying to glow up, trying to grow up, trying to be up. You spend so much energy just trying to have a certain element of control of the material world, that you end up having to rightfully neglect your spiritual existence. So you have to redefine what success is when you're on a path of awakening. You have to redefine almost every area of your life. Every area has to be broken down and rebuilt up, broken down and restructured, predicated upon what you are learning as you spiritually gain more spiritual information. As you gain more spiritual information, you have to actively begin to reconstruct a life that honors that. And subtly, greed still operates, and it's something you kind of have to babysit for a little while. You have to babysit it, because what starts to happen is, as you start rearranging, particularly in the areas of finances, if you have to start, which most of us are going to probably have to do, because we have been operating in greed for so long that we just have a lot of stuff that we actually don't need, and we pay for it every month, every week, every whatever, and we don't even really need it, but we believe we do because everybody else got it. Everybody else has it, and they stressed out trying to keep it as well. From the rich to the poor, everybody's stressed trying to keep what they have, whether they have a lot or a little. See, greed is not really a reflection of how much you have. Greed is the influence operating in you, the energy, the frequency operating in you that has you obsessed with more. Gotta have more, gotta get more. Bacon, gotta have bacon. Like they have you operating on autopilot. More. Excess in every area. And it is intentionally designed that way, because those who sit at the highest point of the pyramid, they sit up there because they're being fed by your energy. They're up there because you're down here like a rat on a wheel, constantly working. Got to get 2 more jobs. Well, you just put a couple $billion more in the hands of somebody who don't give a fuck about you and don't care if you have to, end up on dialysis in 2 years because your liver broke down because you was drinking too much alcohol, because you was too drunk, because you was always trying to work, and when you got home you just always wanted a bill, and you always want, because you're stressed all the time, and so you drink all the time, and they don't give a fuck about your lungs, you smoke all the time, and because you're stressed about bills, because you got 2-3 jobs, you gotta keep going, and so they don't care nothing about the fact that you're gonna have to end up being on goddamn dialysis at 45 years old, because as long they'll just take all your little physical energy for as long as they can get it, and they'll keep lining their pockets with it while you down here playing the game with them, breaking your body down, breaking your energy down, breaking your mind down, trying to play this game that they've set up for everybody to play. You don't need more. You need to get rid of stuff you have to balance out what you have, to remove the stress from what you have. The obsession to keep what you have is what's causing you to have to go in. Gotta get this, gotta get that. You end up choosing a husband because he can, he a man, and you don't really care nothing about him. He don't care nothing really about you. He ain't really no good for you, but you marry him anyway because that'll be more income coming in the house, and it's better to have one than not have one. And you make decisions about your love life, and you make decisions about all kind of things out of these stressful states of thinking. You're not thinking clearly because you're under stress. And so what you have to do as an awakened is start alleviating the stress. Alleviating the anxiety. When I started my awakening, it took me about, I'm going to say about a year and a few months for me to actually realize what the problem was. And the problem was, I'm stressed. Not because I wasn't making good money, because I was, but because I was playing the game. I like to call it Monopoly, because I really believe, like, down here at the lower level of society, even at the higher level, like the whole society is built upon the monopoly game. That's how I see it. We being paid with fake money. Money ain't even real. Our physical energy is very real. But then they turn around and they pay us with fake money, which they can come and snatch at any point. Right? We know they talking about snatching it. They're moving into doing away with it. Most of us don't feel like we have enough of it to begin with. And they're flipping the script on us. So then we got to switch in how we play the game. So then we start going into Bitcoins and cryptocurrency and all of that. But then they control that too. So you're trading one form of monopoly for another form of monopoly. Either way, you're still playing monopoly. You're still playing their game. You're not owning your life. And that's what creates the stress. But hey, I played it for a year and a half after awakening. And then I realized I can't do this no more. Because it was a mindset that had to be broken down. Working wasn't the problem. Taking care of my bills wasn't the problem. All of that was being done, but it was the mindset. It was the intrinsic connection to money that was the problem. I had to do this in my love life. I had to do this when it came to relationships. I had to do this in every area. In every area. What is the subconscious idea that I am adhering to without knowing, because it's in the subconscious? I had to intentionally shine light there in order to see that I have been hardwired to play a game for somebody else to win. Again, this has nothing to do with how much you have or how much you do not have. This has to do with the fact that if you are spiritual, then there comes a point where your spiritual growth has to take precedence over your external gains. We see this in almost every holy book, holy story, the Bible. We see it in myths. We see it. You know, most people who really go on a spiritual quest, they have a period of completely removing themselves from society. This is why monks and the Hindus and the Buddhists, they do that the way they do. The nuns and all of that, they completely pull away. Right? They completely disconnect, at least for a season, until they learn themselves enough, until they rewire their thinking, until they move themselves out of the spirit of excess and greed that the rest of the world is being ran by, even if they're not aware of it. Now here, for me, and I'm pretty sure for most of you that are listening to me, you know, it is definitely something you could just go on off the East India and become a monk. You know, you definitely can do that. But what I'm saying is most of us don't have that liberty. Like, I can't become no monk. I got children. What are you talking about? Like, I can't be like that isolated. That's not affordable to me. I can't do that. I have responsibilities that don't even have nothing to do with money. I have kids, like whole children. I cannot be doing that. Right? So most of us, especially on the Western side, we will not choose that path to completely physically pull away and unplug from society. So we have the job of trying to yield as much as we can, right? Yield and stop participating in the areas in which we can stop participating in the excessive greed that this world is being ran by. You don't need another man. You've already had I'm not trying to count your bodies. I'm really not. But how much more dick do you need? You can't take a break to give yourself time to examine your sexual energy, to examine your love energy, to examine what is you can't take a little break. So just got rid of one, he fucked up, go get another. And you've been doing that for how many years now? And then we all sit and complain about how ain't no good men. Well, if that was true, then if you really believe that, then you'd stop being so excessive with them. You'd stop giving so much of your energy to them. Maybe the problem is that you haven't spent any time really examining what it is from men you want and what it is you don't want, what it is you need, what it is you don't need. Maybe you haven't really examined your vibration as it relates to your sexuality. Maybe you don't understand the power of your sexuality. Maybe you're not really using sex in the way it's supposed to be used. Maybe you're not utilizing your sexuality in a higher conscious state. Maybe you're vibrating low when it comes to your sexuality, which is why you keep attracting low sexual men, low vibrating men, and you keep doing it and keep doing it because you got to have one, because you need another one, because go get another one, need another one. Need. Excess and imbalance is what we have to examine as we're awakening and after we have awakened, because these subconscious ideas can still be on autopilot if you don't take the time. This is the point for the breaks. I'm not trying to antagonize anybody, but this is the point of sitting with the self. This is the time that it takes. And Spirit is really highlighting here that the spirit of greed is still operating in a lot of us in various different areas. Greed can lie subtly at the foundation of our ideas of love, romance, health, and wealth, and our happiness. There are women who are not happy if they don't have a man. You got to examine that. Now, ain't nothing wrong. Men bring a little pleasure and everything. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you look at yourself and you say, when I don't have a man, I don't feel happy. I don't feel, when I'm not married or something like that, or I'm unhappy because I'm not married. You got to look at what your idea of marriage really is. And what is it that you want from it? Because it may be something you already have, but because you have an idea that this brings that, then you're not realizing you already have it. Greed lies at the foundation of these ideas we have towards many areas of our life. Doesn't mean all of it, but just means you have to examine. When your life feels out of balance, at the root of a lot of things is greed. This is how people become energy vampires. This is how they become. This is how you turn over into that kind of frequency, because you always got to be feeding off somebody else's energy, because you honestly don't feel like you have what you need within yourself. So then you feed off other people's energy. At the bottom of that, at the foundation of that, is ultimately greed. Right? Spirit is specifically saying for us to not play victim. If you let greed run you, if you let the subtle power of greed remain there, if you don't do the work at breaking down all of the areas that are excessive, that are creating imbalance, do not play victim. Do not play victim when you don't get what you want, or you get it and find that how you got it was not through spiritual integrity, spiritual ethics, or just. When greed leads you into being unintegral, unethical, and injustice, when it leads you there, do not play victim, because there is recompense. This is why it's so important. Because greed is a dangerous frequency. It's a dangerous frequency. Because when it goes unchecked, it turns into lust. And when lust is unchecked, it means that you have lost the power. You have lost control with your desires. You are out of control. Okay? There is a price to be paid when you move out of greed. Every imbalance must be brought into balance if you're awakening. And if you're listening to this, I'm pretty sure that is your goal. That is the path you're on. Okay? Your awakening is going to aid you in bringing balance to the areas of your life where balance is needed. Is going to aid you. Your awakening is going to aid you at bringing balance. This is when the work really starts. This is why I said in the beginning that awakening is the first part. But after you have awakened is when the work starts. Is when the work starts. Okay? Spirit is highlighting again for us our heart space. Because our heart space holds our emotions, holds our feelings. Our feelings drive our emotions, which is your feelings and your thoughts coupled together. And out of that emotion, you make decisions. But that is from the conscious mind. Your feelings can easily be picked up by the conscious mind. Easily. Your feelings can be picked up by the conscious mind. And those feelings become emotions when they are coupled with thoughts. When you are moving out of your emotions, you are moving out of the conscious thought about how you feel about a thing. The subconscious has not even at all been reached yet. Okay? So this is why we examine what's going on in our conscious mind. But you have to go deeper. And so you have to create space and time in order to go past the conscious mind and to examine your life out of the subconscious mind. What am I believing in my subconscious mind that is informing my conscious mind without me being aware of it? So you shine the light there. This is what it means to go into the darkness. This is what it means to deal with the shadows. Because the moon can be seen when it is dark. Best when it is dark. Okay, so the whole metaphoric going into the darkness, this is what this is talking about. Right? So again, the sun is what you are becoming. You are becoming the sun. So you are stepping into the light. You are raising your vibration. You are stepping into higher consciousness, which is light energy. That light energy that you are stepping into, that higher consciousness that you are gaining, has to then be applied to your subconscious, which is your moon. Now you become a light and dark worker, which you need to be. You should want to be honest. That's the goal. The goal is not to just be a light worker. I'm just always in the light. Oh, I'm in the light. I'm a light worker. Like that's cool and all. But what you want to be is to be able to use that light in the darkness so you can see in the darkness. That's how you become a light and dark worker. And until you do that, you could be very well a light worker. But if you are not savvy at being in the darkness, then there are going to be things playing out in the darkness that you can't see. And you'll continue to be sideswiped by energies that you can't see. Okay? Your emotions concerning what you have or don't have needs realigning. Your emotions, your feelings coupled with your thoughts about what you have and what you don't have needs realigning. It needs to be brought into balance. And you do that by taking the time to define success for yourself. What does success mean for you? And I'm gonna give you a little advice. If you take a journal, take a piece of paper, and you write down what success means for you, without thinking or judging or anything, you just write down your immediate thoughts. And success for you has a lot to do with the material world. Now I'm gonna give you this advice, but I don't want you to try to do. I want you to do this little task. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little homework. I want you to take a piece of paper and a pen or a journal in your journal, and I want you to begin to just write down the definition of success for you, not for the world, not for what you think the world said it would. I'm talking about for your life. What does success? What would make you feel successful if this happens, that happens, this happens, that happens? Okay, that if all of that was to happen, I'm gonna feel successful. I want you to do that. And I do not want you to avoid telling the truth, because I'm gonna give you a little advice. Okay, I'll give you a little hint. After you do that, I want you to read it. And if you read it, and what you feel will make you successful has a lot to do with the material world, then you have work to do. A lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. Because that means as a spirit being, not enough attention is being given to the spirit of you. Not enough attention is being given to the spirit of the material world, which brings about stagnation as it relates to your spiritual evolution. Okay? Because, I'm not here really to fortify. I'm not a motivational speaker trying to tell you how to, manifest new money and stuff. I can teach you that, but I'm gonna still teach it to you from a spiritual perspective, because I'm a spiritualist, and everything that is material, I examine it through the spirit first, because the material world is contingent upon the spiritual world, which means the spiritual world takes precedence over the material world. So if you are on a spiritual evolution and you write out what you want to be, what would define success for you, and you get a lot of, if I get that new job, if I'm able to go and get this car that I really want, or if I'm able to build myself a new house, if all of my kids are in college or got good jobs, that's success for you, then that's is not saying that there's something wrong with that, but you're on a spiritual evolution, which means you need to go a step further now. You need to examine what would all those things mean for your spiritual success. because the spirit takes precedence over the material world. And until you have the spiritual in alignment, or until you have the spiritual world at the forefront of your mind, then the material world is going to be a hindrance, whether you get everything on that list or not. It's going to be a hindrance to you better understanding your spiritual existence. Why is that important, YaYa? Why is all that important? And if you're a returning listener, you've heard me say this again. The whole point, okay, of evolution is to get out of here. Okay, like the whole point is to get out of the cycle of reincarnation. The whole point is to move into a higher vibration of existence, where there is no physical construct to hold you, to house you. The spiritual essence of you exists at a higher frequency. So you don't have to keep coming back down here learning spiritual lessons. The whole point of being here is to alchemize what we know as here and change our vibration. Like we're here, it's school. We're here. This is school, right? So you're trying to graduate. You're trying to get out of school. Okay? So the whole point of all of this work is to get out. Is to get out. And make no mistake, there are higher ups who don't want you to. Now, whether you see them as human or whether you see them as spirits, whatever it really doesn't matter. Just know that you have an adversary that wants to make that as hard for you as possible. And they'll have their justice when time comes, because time is coming. Because everything the mother creates has the right to evolve. And when you start impeding upon that, your ass is grass. It's like it's coming. Because if our evolution as her creation is hindered, then her evolution is hindered. Because she created all of this so she could better get to know herself. Now, I'm not talking about your gods and your goddesses. I'm talking about the Most High, the womb of creation. Gave birth to all of this. All of the gods. Your God the Father and all of that. He got a mama. I don't know if people know that. Your God the Father got a mama. This is why this is the mother's daughter's ITV. This is why I named it that. This is why she gave it that to me, because there's someone vibrating higher than your God the Fathers. Okay, your God the Fathers, your gods and your goddesses, your ancestors, they all have a mama. You have a mama, and she is the womb of creation, and she has given birth to this creation, all of it, the trees, the birds, you, every race, every culture, everything in every spiritual dimension, in every realm. She has given birth to all of it so she could actualize herself. So when certain ones start to impede upon that evolution by trapping creation in a false society, in an unnatural order, when you start playing these little monopoly games with the creation, so that the creation is hindered in their evolution because they do not have time to even deal with why are they here? Because they're too busy clocking in and clocking out, clocking in, clocking out. Pay this bill, got to pay that bill, got to run over here, got to do this, got to get a husband, got to get a wife, got to take care of the kids. You're playing the game, and so you have no time to actually go within and to alchemize the natural world, so that you can relearn how to live in harmony with the natural world. And now the natural world is starting to actually break down because the humans have decided to they're excessively fishing the oceans. They're excessively cutting down the trees. They're excessive. They cannot stop. They got to take more. Now the natural world is out of balance because the humans that live on it is out of balance. Trees have to be cut down for that money that's in your pocket. Plants have to be cut down. Stuff have to be taken from the earth in order to create. That building that you go to work in was made by something from the natural earth. The whole building itself, like you go in, you just, I'm here clocking in. With every new building, every new job, every new workspace that they create, something has to be taken. And don't hit me with, they doing a lot of work online at home now, so that should help. Sweetheart, you don't know how many natural elements is being used to make the computer that you clacking on. So that's not balanced. That's still not balanced. And this is not to say we ought to just be sitting around doing absolutely nothing. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we are in the spirit of greed and excess. And that is consuming time and attention. And it is causing a stress. And the answer is not go get more of anything to relieve the stress, because now you're going to have the stress of maintaining the more. And it is a never-ending cycle. Spiritually awakened individuals, the first task is looking at what can be relinquished, so I can free up my energy. I don't have to stress over maintaining so much. And that looks different for everybody, right? That looks different for everybody. So I'm definitely not saying walk off jobs, and I'm not advising you what to relinquish. I'm telling you that if your mindset is, I got to go get more of this and I need more, and you're always thinking about more, and if you don't go get more, you're unhappy, or you have anxiety about losing what you have, then I'm saying that your subconscious is functioning in greed, and that is informing your conscious mind, and that conscious mind is creating the emotion of anxiety, of being like fearful, fearful of this and fearful of that gonna take it, and they're gonna come and get my car and da. You if they're gonna come get it, sweetheart, you can't afford it. Now y'all know I'm gonna tell you the real and the right. I'm gonna just tell you, if you are waking up every day, every time you hear one of them trucks, the garbage man out there, and he backing up, and you hearing that beep beep beep, you know how the trucks make the beep sound when they're backing up, and you got to run to the window to make sure it's not the repossession man. Why are you continuing to live like that? Just so you can say you have a car? So you don't have to, and don't get me wrong, I understand having a car means mobility. I get that. But at the cost of your sanity, at the cost of your peace of mind, at the cost of a chemical imbalance in your body. You're anxious all the time. You're fearful all the time. You get the little drop in your stomach every time you hit a little beep beep sound. You think it's the repossession man, and it's the damn garbage man out there. Because you know they're trying to come get it, because you ain't paid it, because you don't have it. You've been trying to go and get another job on top of the job you already have, which should be enough to pay for the vehicle, but it's not enough. So now I got to go get another job. And it's a never ending cycle. And this is how the subtle power of greed plays out. I'm laying into that as an example to show you how the subtle power, when you really sit down and think about it, it is insanity. It is ludicrous. As you spiritually awaken, these are the areas where you're going to have to look and say, where am I playing this game on someone else's terms? You need to reset those terms of your life for yourself. When you do that, it is going to bring about harmony and peace. This may be giving up something. This may be adding something. Right? But it has to be addressed. In every area, we have to look at this. In our love life, in our romance, in our health and wealth and happiness. What is linked to your joy? Where is your joy found? What has to be in place in order for you to have joy? What has to be there in order for you to feel happy? If your joy is built upon or linked to something that is fleeting, like money, having it or not having it, like a man or a woman, having it or not having it, if your joy is linked to things that is fleeting, then you'll have an instability in your joy. And waking up in the morning, having breath so you can continue to alchemize this situation, so when you do lay down for good and take that last final sleep, you can say, I got the hell out of here. So don't I'm not one that says, oh, life just sucks, we should just no. Waking up gives you an opportunity to continue to work your way out of this shit. And if your joy is, if you don't just have joy at having breath in your body, if you don't, you can't find any gratitude. I'm grateful for being able to know what I know, to have learned what I've learned, so that I can come and share it. I'm grateful for that. Every time I turn on my microphone, I am grateful to be able to speak. Why? Because I know my struggles. So with every time I turn this microphone on, it is a victory for me. And I'm grateful for that. And as it looks to the material world from the outside looking in, you will say, oh, you know, she ain't got this and she ain't got that and she ain't got that. I have more now than I did when I had all of the material things. I have more now. More. Way more. I'm filthy rich right now. Because it's not predicated upon how much tangible money I have or don't have. I don't wake up stressing about no damn bills, and I don't wake up stressing about nothing being taken from me, and my children are provided for, and I'm provided for. I have not missed anything at all. And with every financial blessing that comes in, I'm able to legitimately enjoy it. Enjoy it is not predicated upon relief. Used to be when you make your little money, you get a little blessing, you get your little tax return. It's like a relief. Ooh, I can take care of this now and get that off my back. I can go and do this and do it, Now, when money enters my life, I can enjoy it. When love enters my life, I can enjoy it. It's not codependency or trauma bonding. It's not saying, oh, I got them in my life, so now I got somebody. So I'm relieved because I'm not single no more. I'm not by myself no more. When love comes, when romance comes, I can enjoy it for the purity of enjoying it. Because me as a spirit and my success is not defined upon external existence. It's not. I'm here in an external world. And so now I could just observe. I can glean without the pressure and the anxiety of, oh my God, I'm going to lose this. Oh my God, this going to crumble. Oh my God, I got to get more. Got to go over here because this is what success is. Because if I don't be able to build me a house one day, I ain't going to feel successful. If I ain't able to get out of this, I ain't going to be, it's all that right there. I got so sick of that. I got so sick. The anxiety was just too much. It was just too much for me. And I lived like that from the time I left my parents' house as a teenager. I lived with that anxiety. I went through periods of depression, put on a bunch of weight through depression, got in marriages I shouldn't have been in, stressing, living according to somebody else's ideas of what my life should look like. Being a part of the church, stressing about going to heaven, stressing about going to hell, stressing about is God upset with me, stressing about who did I sin, stressing about what this is. It was just too much. It was just it was just too much. It's like ain't no flipping flapping way I'm gonna mess around and be 60 and 70 years old and haven't really lived and haven't really set myself free. And what does that mean if I transition in that state? That means I got to come back and do it again because I haven't learned that I am a spiritual being who cannot be tethered down nor limited by matter. You cannot box me in like that. You can't box me into the material world. I'm not tethered to the material world like that. I don't feed off of it like that. It manifests according to me, not me being ruled and ran raggedy by it. That's not the way that's go. Not no more. Not for me. And what Spirit is saying is that you're at the phase of your awakening divine feminines where this has to be looked at. When you don't have balance, when you let greed run you, you risk overworking, over loving, over giving, over indulging, over spending, over saving, overages everywhere. Everywhere you look, it's an overage. You're overage in every area. When greed is subconsciously feeding your decisions. She wants us to be a little more forceful, a little more aggressive at tackling greed. Okay? Because it is contrary to divine feminine energy. Greed is contrary. It's a hindrance it will hinder your manifestations. Your power to manifest. You have to sit with this spirit of greed. You have to sit with how your emotions are driving you into a lot of overages, because it equates to you over giving your energy. Okay? If not, if you don't do this, you risk so much when it comes to alchemizing your existence so that you can live as the spirit being that you are. You will stay tethered to the material world. You will stay tethered to the material, the physical body. When we talk about a light worker or a person who is of the light, this is something that she was telling me a few months ago. We're not just talking about illumination. We're also talking about weight. So to be a light worker, you both have to be illuminated and you also have to be light. So when you're reading about the Egyptians and the whole the Book of the Dead and stuff and all of that, when he gets to the point where his heart has to be weighed in the scales and his heart cannot be heavier than the feather, right? You got Anubis there and everybody. This is what it's so there's a lightness that you have to acquire. It's not just illumination, it's the weightiness of you. Erykah Badu said it best when in the song Bag Lady. She couldn't have said it no better. Your evolution requires you to put bags down. You have to become lighter in your energy. And so what you need to do is examine the areas that are creating a weightiness in you. And anxiety, low vibration, the lower the vibration, the weightier it is. It's holding you down. As you relinquish things, you will find that interdimensional travel is easier. Lucid dreaming is easier. Time traveling is easier. Going into your past lives is easier. Communicating with your ancestors, it all becomes easier because what's weighting you down to the material world is counterproductive to your spiritual exploration, spiritual discovery. So this is what she is asking us to look at right now. In the next phase, after you have awakened, this is the next phase. It's the destruction for the reconstruction of your idea about what makes you successful. What you have to start defining yourself for yourself. What your life needs to look like for yourself. In whatever area that is needed. Okay? We as divine feminines are a well of living water. All right? We have to remove the blockages. It's like when them beavers go out and they'll dam up a whole damn lake. They'll dam up a whole river and the water can't flow. The water is there, but it can't flow because you've let society build up a dam with all of these ideas about money, about love, about work, about success, about family, about this, about that, and all of those little sticks and stones and stuff, and you've been dammed up. But divine femininity requires the breaking down, the removing of the dam. Beavers are some of the busiest working animals on the planet. Okay? So we have to remove what is blocking that well of living water that sits inside of us, because it's damming up the flow of the power of divine femininity. It's damming up the flow. And this is what I be talking about when I do, get in my bag a little bit and speak to empower us. We are at the helm of the flow of the world. We are at the helm. We're not down in the basement of the boat, whatever that's called. Right? We're not down there. We're at the helm. And so there's things we have to take back control of the steering wheel. The journey becomes easier for you, and it becomes easier for everybody around you that you give birth to in one way or another when you get back in the helm at the stern wheel of this situation. Whether that be your family, whether that situation be the world at large. This is an energy. This is frequency. It has no bearings at all. Or it has nothing to do with, or it is not defined by what roles we play in the physical world. And that's what I think a lot of people stumble on. So you have women going out for positions of power because to them they feel like that comes as you undam yourself. It's a natural recourse. It's like as you start stepping more into your divine femininity and the power that is afforded to you, as you undam up the well of living water that you are. Because the physical world, the external world right now is not predicated, not built by divine femininity. These masculines have took over and caused chaos. So I can't play their game because their game doesn't benefit me. So I have to redefine how I'm going to move. Divine feminines do not have to move in greed. Why? I'm going to tell you why. Divine feminines do not have to move in greed because everything is at her disposal anyway. She doesn't have to obsess about more. More comes. She's always got more. It's always more. So she doesn't have to obsess and go overexpend herself and overdo. Her sheer existence she's provided for. So we have to examine this. Spirit wants us to examine our emotions, our conscious mind, but she wants us to make time to begin to shed or to shine that light of higher consciousness into our subconscious and look into the crevices, look into the small spaces, look into the spaces of your thoughts. Think about it. Ask a question. Before you make the decision to go get 2 more jobs because you get to the end of the month with the full-time job you have, or you get to the middle of the month and you starting to see that you don't have enough to keep going. So your mind says, I got to go get another part-time job. I got to get a part-time job because I got to do this and I got to make sure I have this. Before that be the deciding thought, examine why you don't have enough with the full-time job to begin with. Before you jump into another relationship, before you overindulge in any other area, examine why you need something so much. Where is that coming from? Do I actually have everything that I actually need? Am I being greedy? Am I being greedy? Because the subtle power of greed needs to be addressed, divine feminines, because it doesn't honor the vibration of divine femininity. Because as a divine feminine, you always have what you need. You don't need to stress or let anxiety or fear or depression or any of those heavy, low vibrational frequencies to run rampant in your energy. And if they are running rampant in your energy, you have to examine where it's coming from. And if you be honest and you look deep enough, you will see greed at the foundation. This has been Sacred Empowerments of the Divine Feminine. Thank you for tapping in. Okay. Please leave a comment. Please hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? Exchange a little energy with your girl. I appreciate all of you who take time to listen to what Spirit has to say through me. And I hope that you're being empowered. I hope that you're being enlightened and learning and growing and feeling, you know what I'm saying? Like we are family. You know what I mean? I am communicating with you to create a family dynamic for divine feminines where we can hash these things out in some real ways. I don't be with all of that, you know what I'm saying? I don't be with all that trendy shit. I really don't. Because half of it is wrong. Right? So I'm capable of judging right and wrong when it comes to spirituality. I'm capable and that's what I'm here to do. So half of the trendy stuff is like a bunch of hogwash, right? I want us to really cut through the noise, cut through the BS to get to some real shit. So that's what I'm hoping that you are gaining from these videos. Please continue to tap in with me. I appreciate every one of you. Can't wait to even get to know you more personally. Leave me a comment. Say what's up with your girl. You know what I'm saying? What up, girl? You ain't got to be nothing deep. You just say what's up, YaYa, and I'm good with that. You know what I mean? I'm good with that. I appreciate all of you. I hope you have the rest of your week is good and everything goes well. I speak wellness and wholeness over you, and peace and joy abundantly in your life. I speak that into your life. All right. Hit that notification bell if you're first time listening. You need to go ahead and hit the notification bell so you'll know when I'm back with a nut and everything. I love you, ladies. I love you, divine feminines. Peace, family.